knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. I'm here and I've been doing some homework, man. What I want to do is I want to put some more stakes in the ground, because I do have a Boxers to Watch collection. And you see, when I came out with the new Predator intro, I kind of might have narrowed it down a little bit, but I really didn't narrow it down. That's just those ones there are the ones that I think embody the sport, right? But in my Boxers to Watch collection, those are guys that I've seen and watched over time, and because of their style, they got some Predator in them. Some of them, have suffered defeats, but those are my guys. Those are the guys that I keep inventory on. That's why it's like, yeah, at certain point in time, it seems like I might talk about a select few of boxers, but I'm not boxing monogamous. I told y'all that. If you've been listening for any extended period of time, you know I'm not boxing monogamous. But then one thing I try to do with the guys that's in the Boxers to Watch, the women that's in the Boxers to Watch, is I talk about them when they need to, and I try not to drag them, but I try to, bring forward information so that over a period of time, if you look at whenever I do a piece on them, I guess if I get a little bit better on the playlist and divide it up to where if you just want to hear when I'm talking about these boxers, so you can see how often and what I'm actually saying over a period of time. And I looked at a lot of my guys last year. A lot of my guys actually took big hits last year. Regis Prograis took a hit. Errol Spence took a hit. Jermell Charlo took a hit. Those are still my guys. I had to fall back from the Errol Spence because it's not enough information. And there's too many people that don't like Earl to really go up against. You know what I'm saying? It's no real information. Like when Earl comes out and he really states what's going to happen next and all that going back and forth and promotional gangbanging and stuff, I don't really care for that. You know what I'm saying? I like boxers on all them sides, but I see the good, bad, and the ugly on all of the promotional companies. And when I'm keeping track of my guys, what I do is I have to know what's actually going on, because I always said, look, when it came down to the Regis fight, he didn't look right. When it came down to the Jermell Charlo, we already knew that it wasn't going to be Jermell's defensive prowess. It was going to be his offensive potential and his capabilities, like what he's actually shown, his work rate. We knew that his chance was to swing, and his numbers didn't look right. That's why people like to pick and choose when using numbers and stats and all that is relevant, even though analysis don't really look at it. They don't really use it. They go with their heart. I'm here to set a stake in the ground, remind people that, yeah, stats and numbers and all that, yeah, you can use them to paint a picture and, get your point home, but depending on what point it is, it's just like everything else. You could take critical analysis and come up to validate any kind of stance. I try not to make narratives. So it was a narrative that something was actually wrong with Regis Prograis. That's what the narrative was. but it really wasn't a narrative. You know, before I get into the main thing, which is I just found out or just confirmed that Devin Haney actually put a rematch clause on Regis Prograis. But before I get into that, I wanna go back to this one piece I had, and I got away from doing the definitions, but still I gotta actually outline these things because this is something that I said on December the 16th. And we're gonna see in a second that it got a decent amount of views, you know, when it hit. But this was something I said on December the 16th of 2023. So I gotta play that, and then I'm gonna get into the source that I got for this Regis, and then we're gonna talk about this and the implications of this, and why not just major media, I'm talking about YouTube media. I'm talking about the big pockets of YouTube. Why are these guys not bringing this information out? The source I got is from 18 hours ago when I read it, and that was only because here lately Regis been coming out and doing interviews and talking, because I was saying, just like Jermaine, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. We know there was some legal stuff going on. I don't get on to all of that. I don't do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my lane. My stuff is the inside of the ring, and since this is a rematch, this is a rehydration clause, this affects what goes on inside the ring. So I work my way inside out. I look at the boxes from inside the ring, and I work my way out. And I'm building something. I've been working on something. I got a foundation to the channel, but I gotta represent my guy, just like when Richardson Hitchens just now took that hit against Lemos where he didn't have his best performance. I still supported my guy. I didn't slander my guy. I pointed out his weaknesses. You know, I pointed out what he did right, what he did wrong, but I also defended him when people were jumping on him about the rehydration, like not being able to go up 10 pounds. And golly, you come across something and Regis finally come out and spill the beans. First he came out, he said it was no back end, meaning that the fight didn't do well. So that was the fabricated numbers part. And then you got to think, man, Regis was the champion. He was the champion. People don't realize Devin was the challenger at that point. He had dropped the belts below, used his WBC to come up after he got out of the Teofimo line, and said, all right, well, since Teofimo want to come back, because it was supposed to be for Barbosa for a vacant when Teo fake retired. Teo was like, so he said, nope, I got Regis. Well, we all know that Bill and Barbosa and they all had an agreement that they were going to fight. That was already etched in. That's how he was able to be on the undercard. Best laid plans. But to know in hindsight that Regis had a one-way rehydration clause. For one, I'm like, that's crazy that somebody would even advise him as the champion to accept that. But we've seen worse. We've seen what happened with Earl Spence and Bud in negotiation, and how they said Bud was a shrewd businessman. Like, we've seen how Earl basically he coin toss. Like, it was some silly stuff going on. But I said, hey, it was crazy to me as the guy with all the leverage. Like, you had the 3 straps. You know, you had filled the arenas, you had the better pay-per-view number, you had all the stuff that people, when they want to talk about business, they want to include it, but then when they want to be, disrespectful, they'll say, oh man, you a fanager. No, this is real boxing talk. Like, this is, we look at everything from complex angles: height, length, width, depth, breadth, capacity, buoyancy, fluidity. We can say less and mean a whole lot more. We got to analyze and look at everything circumspect, but I just find it odd that a champion would accept that. You got to think, Regis got jerked all the way around, man. If you look at these pay-per-view numbers and the numbers on that fight, the fact that it was a rehydration. Remember how long Regis been fighting at 140. He been able to rehydrate and do all this or whatever. He wasn't under the IBF and all that. So it's just real odd that right now, like, nobody's talking about this. Like, why is nobody bringing this up? Like, why is nobody? Oh, but every time the fight, I'm not. That's gonna be later in the segment. Let me play this because this is gonna let you know how I felt on December the 16th. This is very relevant. It got a lot of views, and if you wasn't here, this is what we do. This is fruits and veggies. You know what I'm saying? This is we lay down foundation. We got to keep building brick by brick. This don't get a whole lot of likes, clicks, and views, but it ages very, 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 very well. Let me get into it real quick. Let me go ahead and let me do this. All right, this is it. This is another installment of a new series that I'm doing called We the People. And I found myself, online making content, and I do pretty well. My numbers do pretty good, and I know that they're not nearly as large as they could because I had to understand the kind of audience that I want. I actually have a channel that's based on, that's why my slogan statement is, we don't take things for face value, we do that body work. And I say that because a lot of the times people get spoon-fed things and they don't do research, and so it's really for a hardcore, but it's really not. It's really for casuals, like, to come into a hardcore space, to not just take things for what people say and run with them. And I've been I said, you know what, I've done some things and enhanced some growth, but I said, let me do some other things, and so I've been working with vidIQ. And at first I used to think that some of the exercises were silly. I said, well, shoot, I've done it my way. I've been growing my way, and I know I could put out more product, but what else could I do? And they made me do a purpose statement. And my purpose statement was that I make review videos about boxing styles and boxing film study because I believe understanding the fighter's mentality and style will enhance your viewing experience. So my channel is really based on giving you information so that when you see fights, your experience is enhanced by what you know, or another angle, another perspective on the fighters, whether it's inside the ring, their mindset, their habits, their physicality, their fighting style, just some things relevant. And every now and again, I dip off into the politics, even though that's not the foundation of my channel. So with that being said, man, welcome to the channel and thanks for listening and tuning in. Right? Let me get into this. We the people ask that all of the sanctioning bodies go to the IBF rules. There's a lot going on in boxing, and I see that boxing is always evolving, mainly on the business side. They do introduce rules. They are starting to introduce some kind of rules, like implementing clinching rules. That's one of the latest that I've heard. But here the subject of weight has come up, and how much a fighter can rehydrate, and everybody complain. We had Richardson Hitchens basically say that he wouldn't want to fight Matias because Matias has that IBF belt and they have a 10-pound rehydration clause. And I looked at it two ways. Richardson Hitchens is one of my guys. You know what I'm saying? I call him the Rain Man. Very polished boxer, very skilled boxer. I see flashes of Bud. I see Floyd. I see a little bit of Tank, in some of the movements. Some of those things that Shakur do. Very polished, very seasoned guy. A battle-tested guy. He's an up-and-coming. He's a fringe level contender right now. I think he's getting ready to face a title eliminator. And I got to thinking, I said, a lot of the climate in boxing right now is that somebody would take that and say, oh man, he's ducking the smoke with Matias. somebody would say that. And I'm like, well, if that's the stance you want to take, me knowing his fighting style and what he brings to the table, I don't think that he would duck that smoke. But if somebody said that, okay, fine. That's not who I'm catering this point to. My point is this: there are guys I think like a Regis, like a Richardson Hitchens, who are really like they could campaign at 147. I know Richardson Hitchens could. He could. And in time, maybe. Ultimately, that might be where he ends up. But I think he's right at that level to where weight isn't all that easy to cut, but he maintains a fairly decent lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I know he said he like to eat, some things, but I think he's working with nutritionists now and this and this and that. But I was thinking about this clause because it's a big fight waiting in the wings right now. And after a point was made that a fighter was able to come up into the ring 25 pounds heavier the next day, this issue comes up, and somebody says that one fighter is he don't want no smoke because if he tipped his toe up there before and he fought there before, why not this one? You ducking the smoke. And that again, that's the same mentality of the guy that said, if you think Richardson was ducking smoke, okay, cool. If you're going to try to put that on Tank and say, you know what I'm saying, he's ducking smoke, okay, cool. That's the mindset you have. I'll be a fool to sit up there and argue with you because that's how you want to perceive things. The reality of the matter is, just like many cliches in boxing, like hit and not get hit, this is the sweet science. There's weight classes for a reason. Always floats around. And I was thinking, man, there are weight classes for a reason. It's evident when we seen Jermell Charlo move up and fight Canelo. They're different fighters and different styles because you see somebody like Nalia anyway, very data oriented. He tracks his conditioning at a certain point in time. I mean, very meticulous. You know what I'm saying? I salute him for his acumen and what he does outside of the ring in preparation for a fight. And I think a lot of fighters can learn from him. But in regards to this, we the people, I would like to say that I think all of the sanctioning bodies should go to this. I think it's more safety for the boxers. It would eliminate, people being labeled as such, and it'd be a concrete rule. My first when I really started getting into the belts, everybody knew that the WBC was the most coveted, and people put a lot of weight on the Ring Magazine belt, Lineal Championship, etc., etc., etc. I know that happens, but I remember when Earl had got that IBF, and I was really learning. It was like, oh man, yeah, it's 10-pound rehydration. Now, Boots has it, and he has to go by the IBF rules. And a lot of people say, oh man, just like the Richardson Hitchens and Matias thing, the whole 10-pound rehydration. It's like, I think that until Richardson decides he wants to go to 47, I think he can continue to make the 40. But that's just an indication by him saying that a fighter wants to feel comfortable in the ring after they weigh in and coming into the ring. They want to be physically, they want to be at their best. They all come in with some kind of ailments or whatever, but physically they want to be their best. And I would attribute that rule to saying, look, if you can't come in more than 10 pounds, what the IBF, the spirit of what the IBF says fits that perfectly. And I'm going to read it. A rehydration clause in boxing is a term in the contract that dictates how much weight a fighter is allowed to put back on ahead of the fight. The clause helps to ensure a fair fight by maintaining a level playing field. The IBF insists that fighters cannot exceed a 10-pound rise on the morning of a championship fight. This rule does not apply in unification bouts because it was being abused. I don't know how it was being abused, but maybe that was one of the ones where there was a lot of boxers that weren't going for the belt, or I don't know. That's something that you can do homework on. But I'm like, man, I don't think that rule is so bad. I think it would eliminate a lot of the gossipy talk where you can try to, indict a boxer for ducking if this rule was in place. I think a lot of the frivolous conversations that we have surrounding fights and things like that will go away if all of the sanctioning bodies did it. And if it wasn't a 10-pound and maybe a 12-pound. But I would say, man, like, you think about it, if you go up 15 pounds, in between 135 and 140, that's 5 pounds. In between 140 and 147, that's 7 pounds. But in between 135 and 147, that's 12 pounds. So you can go in at 135 and you can come in bigger than somebody that will fight at welterweight without this rule in place, like without abiding by this rule. And so I'm asking that we the people push that all of the sanctioning bodies have a rule similar to, if they can't, settle in at 10, that might be a little bit much, but I think that the IBF is one of the most consistent when it comes down to the rules in boxing anyway. They don't play around when it's, when they have a mandatory, they dictate who the mandatory is. They don't waste any time in, making the move and enacting law. And a lot of people get upset when they, go into this rule, not understanding that the IBF is like this. It, to me, in my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion, the IBF is the standard. It has been. And I was like, man, that's just easy peasy. It's just like, like I used to tell my son, growing up, I was like, man, when it comes to abiding by the law and playing by the rules, it's like, if you know the rules and you're doing what you're supposed to do, like in your classroom, you go to school, if you know the rules of the classroom and you know them and you abide by them, there's nothing really a teacher can tell you, because you're abiding by the rules. It's just like out here. If you're abiding by the law, it's nothing really that the law can tell you if you're abiding by the rules. It sounds easier, but I like to apply a little bit of real life into the boxing logic. You know what I'm saying? I know this is not the juicy gossip, but what do you think? Should all the sanctioning bodies get in line with something along the lines of what the IBF has set up, even if it may be a little bit more relaxed than a 10-pound rehydration, maybe a 12 or a 15? What do you think? Because this is a solution-oriented channel, and we cater ourselves to hardcores and the longevity of the sport. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it'd be like a good scuffle. Yeah, it'd be like some good trash talk. But at the end of the day, we want to see the best fighting the best. And if one fighter is coming in feeling, drained, or the other fighter is coming in, fighting 3 or 4 weight classes above, the class that they actually competing in, we don't get to see the competitive fight. We want to see the elite fight, other elite competition, but when they actually do fight, we want them as close to 100% with the fairest, evenest playing fields. Not to consider the height and the reach and all that. That's all natural, because it's all different shapes, sizes, and frames, weighing in, like with the fight with Ramirez and Espinosa. Espinosa was like 6'1". I think Robisi, I think they say he was like 5'8", but I don't even. To me, it looked like I don't know. He kind of looked like he 5'6", 5'7". It's just, so not that, but just the weight and how you feel going into the ring is important, so that as consumers, we get to see our products perform to their maximum ability. I like to get your thoughts and your comments on it. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for chiming in. We the people ask that all the sanction bodies come together and kind of get in line with something closer to what the IBF has. Let me know what you think. Peace. So that's how I felt. That was December the 16th when I put that out, and I think we heard a lot of people that was talking about. You've been hearing a lot of people talking about that, which is, you know, it's good. It's good that a lot of people are talking about it. You know, I mean, I think that it's a good conversation to have. But you heard what I said. Now let's get into what the meat and potatoes of today. Let's get into that. Right? Let's get into that. So this is where all this is coming from with me. This is the article. Boxing News 24. Regis Prograis details weight manipulation in Devin Haney fight. Sees Ryan Garcia win as karma. And this is the picture, credit to them. It was December the 9th, 2023. This is when they was in San Francisco, California. Credit to Ed Mulholland from Matchroom. Fair use, fair use, fair use. And this article is by James DeGrad. Got like 91 comments. It, you know, this is not the kind of stuff that people are really looking to see. So it's just something I got to go over because it all makes sense now. Former WBA/WBC light welterweight champion Regis Prograis revealed that Devin Haney put a rehydration limit on him for their fight last December, while Haney rehydrated to whatever he wanted. I don't even need to go in it because it's going to talk about how he think he rehydrates and all that, which I would say is speculation because he says he has no proof. That's not my lane. That's not my lane. So right before I steer off into somebody else's lane who like to get onto that stuff, I'm going to stop right there. Former WBA, WBC light welterweight champion Regis Prograis reveals that Devin Haney put a rehydration limit on him for their fight last December, while Haney rehydrated to whatever he wanted. It was a one-way rematch clause. Sources. Well, Mike, okay, so what? So what? It's like, well, why aren't the big masses? Why isn't major media? Why didn't we even know about that? Why in the post-fight Regis, how come nobody had the intestinal fortitude for those who have the pleasure to interview boxers and all that? How come nobody stepped to Regis right away and got these answers? And we're just finding this out now. This been information, man. So for all of the knee pad wearers, the tonsil jewelry displayers, the throat coat sprayers, Kevlar, kneecap, persuasion. Why are we staying silent about this? All it takes is for a few men to remain silent to allow evil to continue. I think that was like Galatians 7:19. Don't quote me on that. But do y'all understand what I'm saying, man? That's why, you know, you did see in the rules where it went over and it says, you know, it does not apply in unifications. Okay, cool. But when I listened to all the crying, because I went in and I said, you know what, I'm not gonna be like everybody else. I'm not gonna for 9 months. I'm not gonna go in on them for 9 months. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna actually like reiterate, since there were sources, meaning that there were other people that came out with this information prior to. The source that I'm using is Boxing News 24, and I cited my sources for what I already knew. See, that's the dilemma for being on the outside, working your way in. It's like, you know, deep down in your nose something ain't right, but you don't have the smoking gun. Now, aside from what I've been saying all of this time, man, because I've been following it since, man, I was getting bashed. I've been getting bashed by the Devin Haney OnlyFans since Tio. Since right before Tio took off, I've been getting bashed by the Devin OnlyFans. Since then. It's people that done flip-flopped, and you would think that, man, I'm riding their coattails for being a Tank fan. It's people that I argue with, done fell out with, then told them, man, your man ain't, that ain't, hey, cut it out, man, your man ain't. They done flip-flop over to they been riding the Tank thing, and now you would swear. I ain't never, I'm always say this, I ain't never get no, oh yeah, you was right or nothing. They just so cocky with it now, and I'm like, okay. People done flip-flopped on this. But people flip-flop on real live boxing topics and conversation, because I remember everybody getting on Richards and Hitchens not too long ago when he had that battle with Gustavo Lemos. And he actually came out and said, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this IBF thing. And we went on here on a live, we went down all of the weights what he been weighing, and he was in there the same weight that Brian Garcia, 143. There's only a couple times that he actually got down there and started doing it, but it ain't been that many. While other people, while another boxer had the advantage of being able to come in with all the better dimensions, the activity advantage. Like, these are things that I've said, man. I've been saying this I've been tracking. So I've been getting bashed by them forever. So it's like, it's not hate when you're recording the facts, when you're speaking facts, when you're putting stakes in the ground, and because they was colliding up against so many different boxers. I'm like, okay, well, for me to have the perspective I need to figure out what's going on with these other boxers. Some of those other boxers happen to be my guys. What else do you expect when you following a weight class? So it seemed like at every perplexing angle, I was hating on the young man. I was not hating on the young man. I was pointing out facts. But to see, like, this is why I tell y'all, man, it's a game, man. That's why I say, man, support the channel, man. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Support the channel. Support the channel. Support the little channels. Support the fledgling channels. Support the growing channels. Support the channels that are saying things that are, to be true. Verifiable things. But it's not going to pop. It's not going to be popular. It's not going to move the needle. Support them. Why? Because a lot of them fall by the wayside, man, because they don't get enough support. It takes time to actually qualify. Some of us do not microwave our research. We don't just get in there and, you know what I'm saying? I understand that. I don't even like the microwave grits. I don't like them quick grits. Notice how everything is just so quick, instant, and all that. What's so good about instant? Nothing is instant. Because if you was called an instant man, what if you was known as Instant Man? No. How you get a good baked potato? You can do it in a microwave. It can be done. It can. Well, it's something about letting it sit in that oven. There's something about that crock pot. I want y'all to really think about these things, man. And like, I want y'all to be beacons out here, man. And not to be on no high horse or nothing like that. But it's like, boxing is in trouble where people are paying to get lied to, man. Like, do you want to be a contributor? Raise your hand if you want to be a contributor to the sport of boxing dying. Raise your hand. All you gotta do is remain silent. It got to the point that sometimes, you know, it's like, well, I'm always the one speaking up for people. Like, you know, it didn't happen at work. It didn't happen when I was in the Army. I just always was the one to say, hey, man, you know, just to make sure, you know, they're like, oh, man, why you got, yeah, because you know, if something ain't right, part of that is militant, man. I guess, you know what I'm saying? Then the upbringing I had, my mom was very strict, man. If it wasn't right, boy, she gonna make sure you get tight, boy. She told me about consequences and repercussions early. But we can't, you know, I realize that sometimes in boxing conversations, man, just like in life, yeah, you're supposed to take the path of least resistance. But when that becomes a habit and people know that you're willing to take the path of least resistance, that can then be a weakness. And that's what we're doing out here in these boxing conversations. When you sit around and whatever, you know that best friend, you could have a best friend that be sitting around. You sit there and you just be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And no matter what they say or do, knowing they messing up, if you don't say nothing, what kind of friend are you? What kind of fans are we? We don't say nothing about these things, man. Regis was a daggone champion. He could have went ahead and fought Sandor Martin, defended his belt. It would have looked good because Sandor Martin kind of styled on T.O. if you really ask. Now I did something by the numbers, and you know, just like Harvey Doc costing me that 620. The referee played a factor. He didn't call 2 knockdowns in that fight. Changed Sandor Martin's trajectory, wouldn't you say? All it takes is for us to just keep remaining silent about these things. But Regis got flim-flam as a champion who could have fought Sandor Martin. And instead, Sandor Martin got compensated. I'm not crying for him. Oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm pointing out some facts. Understand the difference. But he didn't do that. Why? Because I guess Regis and them, they felt that they needed a name. Plus, we're not going to change, you know, any kind of narratives. We know that Matthias and Regis, they were jaw-jacking right before, but that was kind of like, that wasn't that long. That hadn't been brewing that long. Because remember, I mean, it could only have been brewing really since Regis got that belt. Jabril, you know, he did his thing. He had already did his thing. Had a little bit of inactivity. So at that point in time, a lot of people were not trying to fight Regis Prograis. Even before the Zorilla fight, they wasn't. He had, you know, he didn't have his best performance against Zorilla. You know, so we got the Josh Taylor performance, the Zorilla performance, and then a performance with Devin. But now we know that there was a one-way rematch clause. Do that actually change the conversation of today, where all you hear is like the victory that Tank had over them? Now, I believe that's a little bit different because you're talking about different weight classes. When you're the bigger person wanting to fight the smaller person, and the smaller person has all the leverage, and they say, all right, you want to fight? Let's do it like this. And you say, okay, cool. That's on you. But a lot of these channels, I can't go to any of these big channels who have 600, 700, 800 people sitting around listening to them and go over there and regulate and tell them to do anything. I can't go over there and ask them, you know what I'm saying? Like you go over there, you try to request anything or say whatever, like you can't, nothing. They won't do nothing. Like, but out here in the conversation, you want somebody that hold all the keys, have all the leverage to do everything that you want as a boxer. But my man, but the conversation that's being had is either, and I told y'all what it was going to be. It was either going to be Jabril and Tank slander, either or both. It was going to be something involving Tank, which it is, because now it's the whole narrative now is, oh, can he do it without a rehydration clause? Can he do it? It's like, okay, cool. Can we stop playing a rehydration clause game? Because it for me, man, this was somebody getting hit in a vulnerable spot right here. Like this news that came out about Regis, man. This not aside from, you know, him, aside from Devin always fighting these guys where he got all the advantages. Aside from that, when you look at it, I say this all the time. I said he fought one time to get undisputed. And people say, oh, he cleared out 135. I'm like, all right, well, by your definition, because he fought one time to get undisputed. That's a point that nobody ever talks about. Then he moved up. Beat Regis. And I gave him credit for Regis, but now I'm like, oh, well, y'all keep talking about this Tank put Ryan on a rehydration and how it wasn't. I'm like, it's different because they're different weight classes. So I don't see how everybody can say, man, Dave just need to go ahead and move up, but then turn right around and say that he got weight bullied. When he's been weight bullying by definition now. Like now with this information, it's like, man, I need to hear from these big boys, man. You can't come down and steal nuggets and use them and, you know, get super chats and get all this good loving for looting and plundering, pilfering and robbing. But when it comes to certain topics, you be depriving the listener. Now you see why. Now, you know, I know it was people that wanted to jump on me about the Riches and Hitches. I'm like, nah, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at them all. I'm looking at, okay, well, how you gonna praise this guy? I want Johnny Allison to get up on here too. I want Johnny Allison. I need Johnny Allison front and center. Come on and holler at me when I put this link out. Come holler at me. Because we can't praise these guys when they got all the advantage. That's why I say boxing is become, now I know in boxing you want some competitive advantages. I know you do. But now it's almost like, man, you desperate to do. It's almost like a game where you can see who could just make a fool out of themselves to the point to where it takes away from the machismo aspect of it. Like we always thought, man, boxing, we always thought like, man, like the way it was refreshing to hear Roy Jones again, man. It was refreshing to hear on It Is What It Is. It was so refreshing to hear Roy say that I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to show I was the baddest man on the planet, and he did. Why you think the channel is called Body Work? When I seen him weave and dip and slip and roll and pivot and use his legs and then boom, one body shot, it was over. I said, golly, Body Work. That's when Body Work was born. When I was little, like that's when it in my mind. But it was so refreshing to hear Roy, and Roy was saying, look, man, I just wanted to, you got a machismo to where when you look at the resume, people say, because they brought it up again, they say, yeah, they say Roy never fight nobody. Like, they just mad because I made him look like nobody. I mean, Bud, some Bud fans try to put that same thing on Bud, and I could say to a certain extent, yeah. To a certain extent, yeah, I could say it. To a certain extent. To a certain extent. If I'm gonna be honest, to a certain extent, yeah. He said, I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary. That's what Bud said. Hey, that's bars. That was part of the intro for a long time. I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary. But we're not getting that machismo anymore. Like when you start hearing this person climbing and scratching and biting and now, when you're talking about different weight classes, somebody meeting you somewhere and all that, because we don't hear all these qualifications when it comes down to Canelo Alvarez. We don't preface every fight that he won by saying, oh yeah, okay, well that was the time when such and such was on the weight class, because at a certain point, Canelo damn near had his own weight class that he was fighting at. He almost had his own separate weight class where that's what he was fighting people at. Don't take my words for it. Do your homework. Do your research. The more and more you learn and you look, that's why I don't get so outrageous about certain things. Yeah, I have my fun, I clown. You know, I do my, you know what I'm saying, my thing, but I really don't drag. I clown a little bit sometimes, you know what I'm saying? All in fun, hee ha ha. But as far as the preservation of this sport, I don't know, man. You keep letting these voices come out and just talk to you, and you just take it and like, oh yeah, man, because they said, like paying attention to all the wrong things. And I told y'all, man, most of the time, because I almost look like, because there's one thing about lying, and then there's one thing about omitting. You know, omitting is almost just as bad as lying. Like when you say something, like in history books, when it says, you know, blop, 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 it's all these little check marks, but somewhere along the line, it omitted something. That's almost as bad as a lie. And the omission was that in that Regis Devin fight, there was a one-way rehydration clause. So everybody want to cry for Devin. I mean, if you was a fan, okay, cool, my condolences. Like you feel how I felt when Earl got his ass waxed. Okay. But there was nothing wrong with Devin. Why? Because he was a champion. He chose to defend his belt. He chose to look past the mandatory. He chose to look past the unification. He chose to do what he thought was a money grab and take the B side. He underestimated his opponent. And everybody want to cry about weight when he just weight bullied another champion. And the footage that they use, Top Rank and them use to build that Devin Haney and Lomachenko fight was an image with Lomachenko looking over at Devin Haney, and when they put the mic on, he said, oh, well, he's a middleweight. That's before the fight. So this one-way rehydration clause is all this. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But let's just try to have some standards. And stop buying into the propaganda them spreading. Let me get to these comments. All right. Arnaldo Nieves, saludo body work in chat. Salute Arnaldo. Right back at it. What's good, bro? What's up, Jose Rodriguez? Champ Sports Boxing, salute body working champ. Salute Champion Sports Boxing. Salute his twin Arnaldo Nieves back at it again. Yep. Roll Rage. Salute Roll Rage. Hector Tapia. Blessings to all boxing body works. Hector Tapia, salute. Ghost in the building. My guy, salute. Nobody comes in the ring 100. Right, I understand. Champion Sports Boxing. I think yes, so we can have a more competitive and fair fight. Yes. Warren Holly, the weight games the fighters play is bogus. How are you going to fight in a weight class, but you want to fight 2 weight classes above? That's BS, if you ask me. But Devin got played for sure. Was it played when you play that game? You know what I'm saying? These games that we play, and salute Warren. Salute Warren, man. I appreciate that. Then you double right back at it. He got beat at his own game. That's what I'm saying. Like, so can we just keep it a buck, man? Like, all the friendliness or whatever. Let's stop all of that, man. Because there's some stuff I don't agree with. It's like this thing about, oh, after your first loss, now the coach need to go and all this. It's like, nah, I don't buy. In some cases, yes, but I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I hate when boxers do that. And it's alleged that my guy did that, man. He just did that. It's alleged that Earl did that. And I don't like to hear about the Derrick James and stuff. I mean, Derrick James is up. He was in the corner of Ryan. You know? But I do not, that's something I don't agree with. So even though I'm cool, I mean, I got Earl, my man, 50 grand. But if like, let's just like, if Tank, let's just say, because it can happen. Tank ever get beat and all of a sudden he clipped Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny. Oh, I've been told y'all he needed. I would not buy that. I wouldn't buy it to save my life. He got beat at his own game, man. And I can't believe that people are still sitting up here doing whole lives, man. Doing whole lives, just sitting there still utterly, disgustingly just defending this and painting different narratives and still going back to trash. And that's why I said, man, I'm not sure if the young brother going to be able to bounce back with the company he keep. With the people that drive him and that energy, you think about the energy, think about where this stuff comes from. It's the energy behind them, and it's the people condoning this stuff. Letting them get away with it, being silent about this. He's not gonna go far, man, because they are reasoning this. They still tell her, oh man, if it wasn't for the weight, like, no, you got you got touched. If you I know they had to do a checkup and they had to say, do it hurt here, do it hurt there, do it hurt here, do it hurt here, do it hurt there, do it hurt here, do it hurt there, do it hurt. They had to check on you, man. So if we're gonna play the game with the contract game where it's like I can't stand keep hearing about this Tank. That's the only way he beat Ryan. Like those are the same delusional people, are the same ones saying that that's the reason why Devin lost to Ryan. It's delusion. No, well, if you'd have thrown your jab a little bit more, if you'd have got your head off the line, if you would have held the phone, if you would have made him chase you around, if you would have made him come forward, fight his way in, make him use his lateral movement, catch him out of position, hit him upside his head, get him frustrated. It wasn't just because of the weight. But what this really tells me, before I get back to the comments, is it seems like it's a whole bunch of fans that's real okay in wanting, like especially all of the guys that's wanting everybody to fight this one guy. They want him to move up and go. It was like he's already at the natural disadvantage. Well, it sounds kind of weird to me for people to push and push and push for somebody to be able to be so much bigger in a fight. What does that say about it? We might as well go full gladiator. Let me put a spike on this hand and, a pillow on this one. We can start tying our hands behind somebody's back. Like, it don't give off that mano y mano. It don't. That's why I think boxing, some of it, like, yeah, when you see it in the ring, man, and you really see somebody that's really real. Like, when I seen Cromwell, I got excited. I was like, man, the dude, man, and then, seeing on that Shaw News, I was checked out his little interview, man. And he was saying, he's like, man, even when I wasn't fighting, I was training. And Gallimore, he got some mileage on him. But he ain't, he ain't no pushover. I done seen Gallimore and spark some people. Gallimore spark you. You ain't supposed to be in there, he will. But Cromwell looked so sharp. He just kept at it. You know, it's exciting when you see that vigor in a boxer. It's exciting when you can see that spirit in a boxer where it's like, man, I don't care who. That man got up there and called out my guy, Errol Spence. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, hey, I'll be, hey, Earl, if you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, he look like he'll pull the trigger on you, man. I want Earl to come back, you know what I'm saying, and go, you know, get back to his you know, get back to what he was doing. But, you know, looking at these guys that are always seeking these unheard, I don't care about the behind the scenes. Like, yeah, if you're a boxer, get the bigger ring. If you the brawler, get the smaller ring. Like, use your, you know, yeah, some of that stuff is like, yeah, like the whole, I'm coming out first, I'm coming out last, I'm doing the ring walk first, you know, I'm blue, you red, ring size, the type of gloves. Yeah, do all of that. That's cool. But yeah, you know, if you got the right, yeah, that's cool. But it's starting to become, it's like, how can I get him? Or can I catch him off a bad performance? And yeah, it might happen, but it's like, yeah, okay, in the grand scheme of things, it's checkers, not chess. But like when it starts, I mean, it's chess, not checkers. But when it starts getting to where you doing like duck behaviors, or people are making excuses when you don't have those things, you know what I'm saying? It get kind of weird, man. It let me know like where you really stand, man. And I saw a lot of flip-floppers today, man. I seen a lot of flip-floppers today. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of flip-floppers today, man. A lot of people that was just, I'm like, where y'all? Like, man, come on, man. I don't know. It would be good for other sanctioning bodies to do the IBF rule, but we know it ain't happening. This is why I don't F with the WBC. They play dirty to their champs. Melazar, salute. Ain't fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? Yeah. And I ain't even do this to take up on the man. I just did this because it's like, dang, okay, Regis, okay, cool, bro. Why you ain't say anything sooner? It's not that we giving you no excuses. Not that we giving you no excuses, because you sat on the down line and you chose, but that would have perhaps, other than the people that knew deep down and you know that something wasn't, you know what I'm saying, something was going on. Some of us that kind of felt it because we watched and studied these fighters. Some of us who kind of knew that, you could have at least gave everybody else this information so that they could have looked and analyzed it. Maybe that would have made some, but some people were just so far up Devin's tail that it wouldn't have mattered what you would have told them. It wouldn't have mattered what you would have told them, man. They were just going to pick Devin and whatever. They didn't even look at a lot of things. They didn't even look at the fact he'd been fighting southpaws consecutively, 2 consecutive, you know what I'm saying, southpaws. He's been groomed for southpaws. He wasn't even, his last fight wasn't even orthodox, leading up to one of the most devastating left hook artists. The crazy, Devin was 165 and Prograis was 145, and Haney wasn't able to give a nasty KO. I heard he was 150 something though. I don't know. I think he was 150. So I'll give him that, but still, it was still a significant advantage. To where even by the rules. This was pointed out out there too. There's channels that got into this too. It was pointed out that even in that, by the rules, that fight shouldn't have went on, but the commission let it get on. They ignored that. They be like, oh man, that's a mute type of play. Well, why did they let them? And they just move on like you ain't saying nothing. But when they supporting somebody and you going up against them, they'll pull every dirty, nasty, stupid trick out the book to kind of cover it up. It's sad out here, y'all. It's sad out here. The problem with cutting weight and weight bullying is the attack speed. That takes speed, stamina, power. Yeah. The Haney channels are lost, bro. It's over for them. All of them are Ennis, Shakur, Pyro fans. Yeah, a lot of Ennis fans. I said they all gonna become Artem, Pyro, and Martin fans. But yeah, it's a lot of Ennis fans, man. It's a lot of Ennis only fans, I should say. Because I like the young guy, but I'm not an only fan. I have no sympathy for the Haneys about 3 pounds. It's really silly, man. I mean, in boxing, so you have no idea what 3 pounds. It's like, yeah, but they saying they talking about something that was. It's one thing if they would have said, you know what, if you come in overweight, you're disqualified from this fight. We don't care if the champ want to move forward or not. That's one thing. But in all actuality, what happened was they said it's going to be X amount per pound. 200 big ones. Do that by 3, that's 600 big ones. They said 5, him and Devin, so that's supposed to be 1.5. What would have happened, what they said was, if he do come in overweight, there's no way he can win the belt. If he do come in overweight, he's going to be fine. We're going to tax them pockets. No way you can win the belt. That was in the contract. So by the contract, did he cheat? Did he cheat? If you tell me, hey, look, if you late on your, let's just say if you renting a house or something like that, you renting a place, right? You tell me, hey, you late on your rent, you know what I'm saying? If you late, if we don't get it by the 5th of every month, it's going to be a $50 fee. Okay. If you're late and you paid a $50 fee, but it doesn't go into another threshold where they about to, you know what I'm saying, boot you out. And then you had an option to actually choose. You had a backup. You let us know who that backup was. You let us know who that backup was. You let us know that backup was Barbosa. You could have cleaned Barbosa up. Embarrassed Ryan. But no, you thought he was fooled. That's why I'm not buying into this 3 pounds. Not only is, okay, the penalty for Ryan was he couldn't win the belt. The penalty for Ryan was paying some extra bread. He paid the penalty. You accepted and proceeded with the fight. What are you crying about? And for boxing talks, I'm still not hearing none of the analysts, none of the big boys. I'm still not hearing them say nothing but Ryan shocked the world. 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 Ryan shocked. Break it down. And then I heard a crazy. Now normally I be with Tarver, you know what I'm saying, because I know he was the one that upset Roy, and I'm like, man, it take a certain kind of mindset that he had to have to be able to do that with Roy. It's just like Bernard Hopkins, he had to have a certain mindset. So I rock with them, like regardless, I rock with them. They're veterans, I respect them, they legends. He had a crazy take today, and I was like, man, I'm not buying that, man. I'm not buying that, man. I'm not buying that, man. I mean, he was saying like maybe Devin could still. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you talking about, because you can't say puncher's chance when it comes to Devin and Tank. How the hell are you gonna go into the ring with Tank and you ain't even got a puncher's chance? Like, I'm not buying that he might be able to. Nah, you ain't even got a puncher's chance, man. And that's what they say when you ain't really got nothing. But SHIT can happen. Cocaine. Karma is a beautiful thing. It can be. It can be. You got good karma and bad karma, man. Mixing become professional in weight cutting, but not everyone can do it. Yeah, it's a talent, it's a skill, but when you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, it's your fault. You playing the game. Need real professionals to do things like that, and Bill Haney isn't no pro. Haro. Bro, Haney fans are saying Haney won on the scorecard. Yeah, that's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard, man. They just bypassing the fact. Like, we still acknowledge the knockdown. Like, remember when I was talking about Sandor Martin and Tio, and I acknowledged those knockdowns? Remember when I was talking about Gary Russell and Lomachenko, and I acknowledged those knockdowns? Like Zarilla and Regis, when I acknowledged those knockdowns that were not called, I still acknowledged them. The ref didn't call it, which impacted the play, but they don't even want to acknowledge the knockdowns. It's like, you can't have it to where he won on the scorecards, and you knowingly know with your own eyes, since you're so good and so precise at watching boxing, that you know when it was a knockdown. You won't even acknowledge that there were knockdowns. That alone, that's extra meat. That's like, oh shit. Yeah, a slice of the pizza fell on the floor. Like, yeah, it was, we had it, you know what I'm saying? It just fell on the floor. You gotta throw it in the trash because, it fell on the floor. Them knockdowns just fell by the wayside. And my pay got docked by Harvey Dock because I could have won. Well, I still needed one more thing to happen. I still needed Stan Giannis to win, but when I had got the Barbosa pick, even though I made that bet and got it right, I don't think he won. But then I had Ryan stopping that, man, and Harvey Dock held that up. But I still needed Amonte Stan Giannis to beat Gabriel Maestre. But I've been waiting for Stan Giannis, man, to come back. So a lot of interesting things in that fight, man, and to include the ref. But I can't see how you can justify those scorecards without even considering the knockdown. Stronger, faster. Yep. Yep. Never acknowledging that they should have got a point deducted. And he held. Like, I remember when they was going all out. This is why I say from week to week, you got from week to week, we gotta watch it, because what they were just going in on Richardson for clinching. Ron did some clinching. Yeah, they talked about the taco shell. We keep hearing about the taco shell, and that's one of their big talking points, and how Ryan clinched, you know what I'm saying, at times. But they ain't talking about that excessive clinching that Devin did. They didn't talk about how he had to grab that man in a very vulnerable position, around by his waist, coming down to his knees with his face in a no-no area, just to fall from hitting the canvas and still hit the canvas. Like, they don't, like, man, how could you, like, come on, man. Support your guy, but, man, it's showing you the integrity of these people, man. I'm sorry. I missed somebody. Hold on. I swear I saw. I'm sorry, I think I missed. Man, so many comments, y'all. JDL Boxing. Champion Sports Boxing. Salute. I appreciate you, Champion Sports Boxing. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for support, man. That humbles. That makes me feel some kind of way, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. JDL Boxing, salute. Thank you. Angelina said, "Cry me a river." Japanese boxing commissions had banned El Pantera Neri indefinitely after coming in 3 pounds heavy in 2018. Just got lifted for the Inoue fight. Yeah, I brought that up. In that video. I think I got it in the episode with me and my old head when we break down the Inoue fights. But that's gonna be something that I revisit when we go back to our segments about Naoya Inoue and that fight that he got coming up. But yeah, sometimes it's serious, but it's just like, are we gonna flip flop or seesaw with this when you like a guy? Is it going to be an excuse? Like, is excuses the new normal? Cause man, I swear, I think the hardest dude to take to suffer a defeat and not make any excuses. I think the hardest dude for the longest time was Earl, up until he came out and like he did for a long time, man. It took him a long time before he came out and said something. I said, man, just don't give one, Earl. Just don't give one, Earl. We know something was wrong, but just don't give one. So I had to come up with a new rule. If you decide to proceed forward and take your tail into a fight, and you ain't right, especially one when you took my money on that Saturday night, I ain't got no excuses. Cry me a river, man. You took my money, man. Like money, if y'all don't realize with inflation and everything going up, man, stuff is expensive. And time is money. Time is money, man. It takes time, effort, and energy, man, to take time out and have people over. And, you know, because when it's done right, man, boxing can keep a lot of people out of trouble, man. Out on the streets, if they put down the guns and picked up the gloves, that would do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Even if us YouTubers, if we really said, you know what, man, I ain't trying to bump into you nowhere, but like when you know what I'm saying, when can we put on these gloves? Like for real, like when can we put on these gloves? But then the time that people spend, the camaraderie that being a boxing fan has, where you can. I went to this one site today, and the first thing the dude said to me, I promise you, you know what I'm saying? I can't tell you who to swear to or what, I don't know, whoever, like, fill in the blank, swear to whoever you want to fill that blank in with, right? The first thing he said, I'm telling you, I went in there, I just walked up to him. I think this before I asked him, you know, if he had a key to the restroom at the site I was on. Before I said a word to this man, he was looking down his phone. He said, man, Dad messed around and lost that fight, man. I fill in the blank, whoever you want to put up there, that's the first thing this man said to me. He didn't even know. I ain't have nothing. I was in my work clothes. I ain't have nothing on to say I talk boxing, I do nothing. That was the first thing this man said to me, man. I said, it's bad, man. I said, it's bad, man. That's the first thing this engineer at the site I was on, that's the first thing he said to me. I ain't got a lot to kick it, Craig. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know I went through that chip tooth thing last week, and you know, I'm like, I was a little self-conscious about it, but I'm like, hey, I'm waiting on the dentist to get back with me. I know what the number is. I'm waiting to get clearance to get this fixed. But I say, hey, man, it is what it is. I'm gonna get it fixed. Said I ain't gonna hide around. That ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't ducking and dodging no interviews, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? I still got it. And my people, y'all let me know, man, that we got a foundation here. We got a good support system here. Hopefully somebody gonna help me get that Sabril Matias interview, man. I need that, man. He need to let me sit down with him, man. We ain't gonna be on no funny stuff. We ain't gonna catch him up. We just gonna build, man. All I need is about 10-15 minutes, man. So my man, I think it's Vizcarrando, I think it's Eric Vizcarrando. Holla at Sabril, man. Get him on here, man. I want to talk to him for about 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gonna bash him. We just want to build, man. We gonna build and share something to everybody. It's a couple of these guys that, you know what I'm saying, I reached out. I might probably start reaching out again. You know what I'm saying? I probably start reaching out again. It's a couple of these guys I'm gonna go. It's a couple fights that I'm getting ready to go to. I just heard about one that's coming up. I'm gonna go to. You know, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna make it a point to go. You know, because we building, we growing. You know, I just wanted to put this out here. I'm done slamming the guy. I'm one of the guys that's trying to tell him what can happen and changes he need to make. You know, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to keep the same energy. That's how I am, Jose Rodriguez. I'm not gonna crucify my guys. I'm gonna get the information. Yeah, I'm gonna poke some fun. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna do this and this and that. But you ain't gonna hear me just. Even the tasting which I did this right here. I said all of what I'm gonna say about Devin, man, for the most part. Unless more stuff come out that's relevant to either my guys or the health of the sports. That's what this is a public service announcement that, man, like, man, this man one way rehydration clause Regis, but everybody want to talk about Tank and Ryan and how the next time it'll be different. It's like they if everybody's doing it, man, and you know, it's like we got to stop them from doing it, or we got to stop making it a talking point, or we cannot use it as an excuse. And Johnny Allison, I need to talk to you, man. I need to talk to you, Johnny. So you catch this playback, man, holler at me, man. Get with me. You know, I don't know if anybody had anything or wanted to say anything, man. Do I need to put the link out, man? Do anybody have anything to say? What up, bodywork dude? Got exposed like X-ray charts. Yikes! Salute Erwin Torres. I know I skipped over a lot of comments because a lot of those comments was made while I was doing the thing, man. And if you got anything else or something that needed to jump out at my attention, let me know. Peace, Bloodshot. But that's what I want, like, spread the word, man. Get people to watch this, you know what I'm saying? Get people to actually take, even if it's just that beginning portion about the rehydration, because we got to get on the same sheet of music with this. We got analysts, you know what I'm saying, riding, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you a whole analyst to get paid to analyze? And you can't do that right. You flip-flop because you like this one or that one, and then tell somebody, oh, you're not supposed to be told Clarissa Shields she should be rooting for Richardson. It's like, she a fighter too. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just like when you in that position, because I be looking like, oh man, if dude wanna, I'm like, man, he need to, I be looking at like, okay, the dude that's losing or getting his butt beat, I be like, all he need to do is this. All right, he need to do like, oh, hold on, he gotta move. Then I be looking at the other dude like, yeah, keep doing that, I be, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might be hard to do that and call that out, but that's how I be looking at the fights, man. Like, you be wanting your guy, if you got a dog in a race or somebody that you leaning for, you be wanting to do it, but you can't sit up there and act like you don't see what you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that I can see that 3 pounds that had nothing to do with that tail, that shellacking. 3.2 pounds, that ain't had nothing to do with that shellacking, man. And just to find out that you did that to Regis, like you put a hydration clause on them. Like, irony of life, man. Irony of life. And Koki, Devin will never fight Matias. That's guaranteed return. That's what I said, man. They talking about he overrated and he can bounce back. I said, man, that you talking about you want to come back and fight. Listen, y'all. I might have been born that night, but not last night. You trying to tell me that as a fan, this how you know they don't care about him, and it's all about the money they can shave off his butt. All the money they can shave off his butt, no diddy. This is how you know. If there's speculation that this man has a broken jaw, think about this. You think that he's so good that he can go over to Puerto Rico and fight Sabril Matias on a comeback. You do not love Devin Haney if you think like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know, but it's going to be tough for Dare to recover from this one. We don't know if he's damaged good. We don't know. If you know, speculation. Allegedly, they saying no, it ain't. But a lot of people are saying the way he looked like a chipmunk. Some people say Cabbage Patch Kid, chipmunk. You trying to tell me that as a fighter, as a fan of a fighter, you would want to put that man back in the ring with Sabril Matias on the next fight? You might got a policy on him, man. You know what I'm saying? Anybody talking like that might have a policy on them, man. That's all I'm saying, man. Read between. That's all I'm saying. What goes around comes back around. Yeah, it's karma, man. It's the boomerang thing, man. You can't be sowing these bad seeds. The best boxing YouTube channel now and the best fans right here. Devin got trolled and fell for antics. It's over for Devin. He's been exposed. His father can't make adjustments on the fly. See the reasoning behind us, and I appreciate you. Salute, Angel. Salute. And I appreciate you. See the logic behind the thought behind it. He got trolled, so he talked about the psychology. You threw out a book, Psychology for Dummies. You threw a book at Ryan. Then you said he couldn't make adjustments. That has more like, yes, adjustments. Talking crazy that Haney won the fight, man. That man. I seen him when he took off, like before his channel took off, and however I seen him right before, just like Showbiz. I seen all these guys. I was around when all these guys like took off. I was there when they went from 0 to 60. I was around. I was watching them. I saw the difference. I saw the potential, and then they become something else, man. They become something else, man. So I've been stopped watching. I don't know how long. It's been years. It's been years since I tuned into something. Unless it was by accident. It's been years since I seen that guy. Devin was crawling all over the ring looking for his eyeball, pound for pound. Devin was praying on his knees. LOL. If Bill does that with Sabril, he'd probably get murked. Masterpiece. Yeah, right. Devin did win the fight in his dreams with that broken jaw. Man, that's why I said, man, I'm not going to lie to you. Dog. You realize what we're saying, dog? Like, if you can watch something like that and you got people around you talking about you won, that's not what the kidney's about. Tell me, oh, man, he caught you. He caught you. Because then sometimes I know all the fights I've been, this stuff slowed down and you don't really realize. I remember one time I was in the army, I hit this dude, and every time I was hitting him in the face, I was saying, bing, bing. I didn't even realize I was saying it. My man from Cali, he said, man, Mike, he said, when you was swinging, when you was hitting, why were you saying bing? I said, oh. I said, I was saying that out loud. I didn't even realize it. So people got to come, if you got people around you that saw what we saw for those 12 rounds, saw what took place that night, if they around you talking about you won, oh yeah, you really won, those are some dangerous people to have around you. I don't want nobody around me like that. I don't need nobody around me like that. That's why I appreciate what me and my lady got, because we ain't like that. Hey, my lady tell me, hey, nah, this, and I can go there and I can say, hey, baby, and we can, you know what I'm saying? We talk it out. She be like, oh, nah, man, I probably would do this better. And we done learn how to say it. We done learn how to say certain things to each other. But if you got friends around you that's just going to coddle you and give you a hug and say, oh, yeah, you won, man. Don't worry about what they say, man. They just trolling, man. That left hook was trolling, but those are some dangerous people to have around you. And, okay, you ain't got to, like kill me when you say whatever you say, but don't, you could maybe for a little while he's healing in his real system, maybe sugarcoat it a little bit, but be truthful with him. He got his tail kicked. Don't have nobody around you, man. I don't want nobody around me like that. Even when it comes to a standard of work, don't just, oh yeah, man, that look good, that look great, and you see a glaring flaw. It's like, no, if you see the flaw, be like, oh no, I'll probably fix that. You can work on this. Just like when you tell someone, hey man, your mic too low, or you know, your lighting is this, or like that day when my face was met, y'all was like, hey man, your face, and I'm like, that be like that with me. Be like that with me. Hold me accountable. Like Koki said, Bill Haney isn't being held accountable by Haney fans. I have not heard 1 ounce of accountability taken for how possibly, outside of the 3.2, that how possibly anything he could have possibly done wrong to lose. All I hear is coddling and crying, and somebody in the Hall of Fame is crying for you. Talking about professionalism, getting into somebody about religion, knowing things that Ryan say as a Christian, but not getting on Devin and Bill as Muslims and things that they say. Being one-sided, and I heard Tim Bradley, it's just like, I don't respect nothing you say. You have an agenda. There are some things as far as like when he talk about his prospects, like when he talk about Abdullah Mason and all them people that it's like, okay, you could clearly see whatever. Outside the scope of those things, I don't respect none of that, man. It's all about the payola, the agenda. And I don't even understand what the whole glazing is for, unless it really is true that Devin gonna go over to ESPN. Because Tim Bradley ain't with Devin at right now. We know Sandra Martin went over to ESPN, but unless he about to go do business, where's all this glazing coming from all these Hall of Famers that ain't got nothing to do with Matchroom or Eddie Hearn? Y'all don't see that, especially coming from that side over there? Tim Bradley? Why? Read between the lines, y'all. If he is going to do something, he probably going to take his tail over there and fight Sandor Martin. Don't buy into all this stuff about some Sabril Matias. And for visual purposes, I guess I gotta remind y'all how that goes for visual purposes. For visual, we gotta be visual. Let me remind y'all with some of these imagery. The same way people like to program y'all. I'm not programming y'all. I'm just putting some imagery. Do not be fooled. I say never. I say never. It's not gonna happen. Do not buy into this slander, and then you're gonna hear a lot of stuff because they're doing it already on Sabril. They're doing it with Sabril about this, about they looking at this right here and they finding everything that they can say about this. Do not be distracted by the things that they say. This is who he is. This is who he is. This is who he is. Don't buy into this. That would be a lovely fight. We want to build. We'll promote this. That would be a lovely fight, but all of this stuff that they saying about S.I.C, Cruz and what he would do, we want that fight, but we not gonna act like we don't know what's gonna happen. We already know what's gonna happen, man. We know what's gonna happen, man. We still got, we seen from this guy on the right, for far right. The guy Sandor Martin, he's up next. Gary Antoine, he's right behind him in that WBC. Kenny Sims Jr. is right there, right behind Roley, right behind Roley in that WBA. He right there. So that guy right there, yeah, he still maintain that WBC right there, but from front to back, from how you looking at it, the angles and all that, that's about how that is. You can kind of, some people can probably be able to say T.O. or whatever since he came up and beat the Josh Taylor, but you got to remember, Josh Taylor dropped it like it was hot when it came to Sabril. So I put a little bit more on that, the fact that you ain't even want to get in there with the man. But I'm not going to go back too far back down memory lane. I'm just trying to paint a picture, man. Let's be accountable, man. This channel is for people that's going to hold me accountable when I ain't doing something right, when I'm going overboard and I need to be checked and tell me. Pull me by my coattail. Do not have me out here thinking I'm running and I got my tail beat. You want to coddle me and tell me that's not what? No, we grown over here. We accountable over here. We hold with the whole. I believe the whole conversation is different over here. Yeah, we'll have fun and we'll laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like we did last night. We was, you know what I'm saying? Because of all the trolling they did. We had, you know, I had to do that just to put closure to it. But I'm not gonna drag the man. Cause I look at this boxing talk like real life, man. This is like real life stuff, man. Like, and another thing, when you don't learn from your mistakes and you don't have people around you to help acknowledge and point out that, nope, this is where you got it wrong. Nope, this is where you got it wrong. Nope, this is where you got it wrong. You can tell that in a lot of times in somebody's technique, if they keep doing the same thing or whatever, it's because nobody corrected to begin with. Now they committed that to memory. So now that's why I don't agree with the whole breaking to a different trainer right away with your first loss, because sometimes you got to go all the way back to the fundamentals. You remember how AJ had to get broken down by Derrick James, and people were saying, they was always saying he was robotic, but then he started thinking, and then he started trying to implement things, and you know what I'm saying? But if in your earliest stages when you were learning how to do something, if you had them yes men around you that wouldn't tell you, like, nope, your form ain't right, nope, you've been into your legs too much, nope, your head is over your, nope, like in the army, like when they, you know how bad it is when you get down and you take a PT test and you get in the front leaning rest position and they hold up that clock and they say, all right, go, and you got 2 minutes and you know you doing perfect form, but they say, nope, go down further, that wouldn't count. They be like 21, 22, 22, 22. You know how mentally breaking that is when that happened? You got to do as many as you can in 2 minutes. But they would tell you, but you know what that do? That makes you that in practice. That means that you in the mirror, you looking at how to do the push-ups, you making sure that your hand is doing it. You're committing to do it, even if you have to do it slow. If you have to do it fast, you making sure that no matter how you do them push-ups, it can be nothing said about your form. He don't have them kind of people around him. You can tell because of the technique. They let him go so many times and they never stopped and told him about the things he did. Now, he was punching down, which we say he was punching down so he can get away with it because he knew certain things. He got to start a different kind of start. Nobody get a start where they go over to Mexico for all them fights to begin with. Like, yeah, you got to start. So, I mean, okay, cool. But having them kind of people around you that's not going to hold you accountable and that's going to let you think that you're winning and that's going to boost your head and coddle you and tell you, oh, nah, man, you ain't do nothing wrong, man. Them judges was tripping. You know what's going to happen? You know what happened when you don't learn? You go out there and you do it the same exact way. Why? You like, oh, no, I'm just going to try it again. Never correct it. You never correct it. That was more than a jab. Like if it was public information and known knowledge and all that, right? That Ryan was out partying, drinking, you know, doing all these crazy things, on drugs, being a crackhead, all these things that he said, right? If that was known public information, why wouldn't your strategy be to make him chase you around for the first 6 rounds? Looking flawless, like you stand away from the left hook, you got him chasing you now because he ain't touched you yet. You know what I'm saying? He getting more and more frustrated. He gonna load up. He you know what I'm saying? So now he frustrated. So now he prone to make mistakes. Now he getting more hungry. You sharp because your condition is there and you ain't got touched. You came out there and let that man go oops upside your goddamn head in the first 31 seconds. Ain't nobody around you telling you did nothing wrong. What's wrong with these people? Ain't nothing wrong with us, y'all. Ain't nothing wrong. You can say I ain't never laced them up. Yeah, okay, cool. No harm, no foul. You never been to Iraq either, okay? That's the dumbass conversations that people have. They don't got nothing to do with boxing. I respect those who put the gloves on before, but like, let's not act like they don't have agendas and that they be saying some of the craziest stuff. They don't even be watching fights. I'd be surprised how many times these people that get paid cash money on a public broadcast to get asked about a fighter that's in the realm of the conversation that they're having, and they like, oh no, I haven't seen him fight before. I wouldn't even. Why don't I have a job in the sport? At least for whatever time, 2.5, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever could be in the scope of what we got going on, I'm gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. Larry Lopez hired from you. Yeah, I hate when they troll and they try to interrupt the camaraderie, and they try to throw their little monkey wrenches all up in it, you know what I'm saying? And we just grab it and, you know what I'm saying, tighten down some nuts and bolts with it, and then toss it back at their monkey ass. But then they don't come back. They think a jab and footwork is enough to win the fight until they meet guys who know how to negate a jab. Yes. Ryan showed Saturday, regardless of way a good time hook can negate a jab. Yes. He was on yesterday defending Haney. That's crazy. Ryan moved his head away from Haney's stick jab and timed the hook perfect. Yep. Champion, yikes. Yeah, I don't get Haney fans. Haney has flaws and his dad isn't the kind of trainer who can correct them. We learned in the Loma fight. He keep doing it, Dad. I think he figured me out. If you let somebody that was too old and too small, 2.5 years, almost 3 years before you fight him, send you back to the corner where you know it's recorded, that means you can't fabricate it. You can't make it up. They be in denial about that. Like, he didn't ever say that, Dad. He figured me out. Like, his dad ain't have nothing to say. But we hating on the black father. Haney just isn't blessed with physical gifts. I told him when Haney loses that I'm coming for him. That's what you told Larry. Puerto Rican power. Salute. We have a little bit of fun, man, but we try to be responsible. I know this is a little more serious, but like, we gotta think about this, man. I thought that was interesting news about this Regis stuff, man. And salute to Regis for finally saying something, man. Salute to him for finally saying something, man. Now we're gonna see if they can reach down in their pantalones and if they got a pair of cojones and they can talk about this. Haney head movement is terrible. Haney fans still want to admit they think he Floyd 2.0. Man, the verdict been out on that. Larry has a straight jacket on, screaming Devin's name. Ryan is strategic. I have to admit, he was on an interview today and they asked him who would win between Haney versus Davis. He said Haney. I think he said Haney so it would help Ryan's resume. Yeah. I mean, this just like him saying, yeah, if I wasn't weight trained, if I wasn't, it's like, no, some people change IQ. I'm done defending it. I'm done defending it. Like, people keep, that's the problem now. Like, people keep thinking Tank ain't got one of the best IQs out there in boxing. Like, his feet ain't some of the best feet out there in boxing. Like, his timing, his power, like, they don't even look at the numbers. They all this whole, he gets hit. Like, no, he like to get hit some, but he don't even get hit as much as like all them other guys. He don't even get hit as much as Devin Haney. His IQ was just better. They just don't like the fact that the man, I don't know what they don't like about him. You can't control him and give him to fight who you want to fight when you want to fight him. Oh, well, that's 90% of these boxers. 99% of these boxers. We can't dictate when they fight. I've been wanting to see Stan Giannis back in there. I have nothing to say. I have nothing that I can do about getting that man back in the ring. I wanted Jamal. I didn't want Jamal to get aged out like that. I had nothing to do with him not getting back in the ring. I watch David Morrell every 90 days if I could. I have nothing to do with him getting back in the ring. Even though we know Davis, we know, man, we know. They're not gonna gaslight us. I'm not gonna go back into the curriculum of gaslighting unless, you know what I'm saying, somebody really put something out there for me to flame. Regis had a good interview. David's IQ is better than his power. See, you know boxing though. You really know. You like a coach. I could even see Davis outboxing Devin for 12 rounds. It's possible, because if he had a hurt hand, that's not gonna stop him from winning the fight with Devin. That's the whole thing. He showed that with S.I.C Pitbull Cruz. But his power was limited because he cracked him, and what I'm saying, he couldn't use it. He didn't run around. He moved more. He pivoted, but he showed he can actually box with a hurt hand. Just like Mr. Gary Russell. I don't think that Mr. Gary Russell lost him. What was that? Maxeo? But one shoulder. He was blocked. Go back and look at that fight, man. You talking about skills. Like IQ. Like these guys, some guys, they just, because they not, for whatever side, the people with the voices behind them don't like them. Not even trying to hit them hard. Well, yeah. But that's it, man. I was going to start concising the lives, but we was in here talking, we was in here building, I was in here chatting, I was in here responding, and this is just another stake in the ground type conversation. Let's not get distracted. I want to do some more on Sabril, man. It's just it's a lot of people that jumped on that bandwagon. Now, so in the build up, when I do have something that I think is pertinent to the fight, something that I want to point out that is not really being seen, then I'm gonna be dropping that hot fire on Sabril. But I would love to have him on. So somebody let him know. But I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate my fam. You know what I'm saying? The kidneys. Salute to the kidneys, man. Hey, we do this for each other. Y'all show up for me and I show out for y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I hope y'all enjoy y'all evening, man. I hope y'all took away from it, man. Share this with somebody. Share the video with somebody. Tell somebody to click the link. Tell somebody to subscribe. Tell somebody to just get a different perspective on how I do things, because we need these things so that when people come around saying they didn't happen, somebody was actually saying, yes, they did. So for my limited capacity in the sport, this is what I can do. Put these stakes in the ground and keep having these kind of conversations. I think it got too late, man. I looked at them tickets and it got too late, Erwin, man. It got too late for me, man. But I'm going. I'm that's definitely on the agenda. I just gotta plan it out. So I said, man, we stacking for a plethora of things, you know what I'm saying? So by that time, I'll be able to move. They kind of did it, they kind of waited too last minute for me, man. You got 23 likes, Koki. If you haven't, if you don't like it, you don't have to, but hit the like button, for your boy. But they kind of waited too last minute for me, man. I wanted to kind of do it in advance so it won't be so heavy on the pockets. But yeah, I'm going to one. I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? It's not out of Dodge. It's just they waited too late for me, man. We was on there waiting. And this is dude Triple B that used to come up in here, man. I be seeing you out there doing some real strange things, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I'm in a certain chat, man, it's crazy how you be talking all crazy. You done came over here, you done hung out, you done kicked it, you done chilled, and you be doing some. You do like a lot of these other guys do me when they always had the opportunity. When I ain't even come at them like that, you know what I'm saying? They start something and then I finish it. Triple B, you know who you are, Triple B. You was over here in this chat, man. Don't be acting all funny when you see me over in another chat, because I'm not going to give you that pleasure. You already know where to find me because you came in here. You've been in here several times. You've been in here several times, and I know when I get in there, because when I get in there and you see my comments, you start talking a little crazy. But you know where to find me at, Triple B. You know where I'm at, and I know you probably still be watching, but that's kind of weird behavior, bro. That's kind of weird behavior that you be doing. I don't like when people do that, but they do that. They do that. I'm talking to you, Triple B. Man, I had Amanda in the first one, but I think, man, Katie, man, because of the wear and tear that's starting to be happening with Amanda, man, she's starting to want to bang. I don't know if it's to create to give more creating fights, but I think she need to get back to being a little bit more surgical. Definitely go back to the body more like she used to, and start getting these chicks out of here, man, because she's starting to take on a lot of starting to take on more and more punishment. Now that's the Punisher in my boxes to watch. I love Amanda Serrano, man. I love her heart. I love the person she is. I love her style. Her body work is like, man, she like that. But I think if she going there trying to bang with Katie and willing to duke it out and really don't, like, you know what I'm saying, really like box Katie, and then, you know, you can go to her body, but box Katie, and then, you know what I'm saying, work on setting it up to where she can like really start cracking Katie by about the eighth round, to where she can really start teeing off on Katie. If she don't do that and she bang with Katie, man, I don't know what's going on with Katie. Katie be looking a little, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Irwin. But that's my take, man. But I love Amanda, man, and what she brings to the game. I call her the Punisher in my boxes to watch. But that's it. That's it for me tonight, y'all. That's it for me tonight, man. Tune in, man. I'm gonna be consistent, man. I'm not gonna let the little chip tooth stop me. You know what I'm saying? From talking it's crazy because now I actually look like my little background thing, my little voice thing. It's like the irony of life, I tell you. But I love y'all, man. I hope y'all have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in here with Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay. You want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.